looks like it's time to start. So today we have a bunch of updates for you, and we have like already Christmas mood, and we have a Santa on our today's meeting. So there are a bunch of presents which we want to give you today, and today we will start from Elasticsearch Support. We already started demonstration of Elasticsearch Support on our previous demo, but there were some issues with this support, and the pull request was not merged until today. And actually today, actually right before this meeting, we finalized the pull request. We made sure that everything works as expectedly, and all our tests passed, so that we can present the Elasticsearch support. And Slava will make this demonstration. So Slava, feel free to demonstrate how Magento, how MSI supports Elasticsearch on both default and custom stocks.
Hello everyone. So let me share probably my screen. Here we are. So I'll show you that we have Elasticsearch set in the configuration page. It is, and I choose Elasticsearch for version 2.4, and we have successful connect. And I'm working on system where I have a small XML profile used, applied, and it's already, I have transferred my inventory to custom stock. So let me show this. It is that we have a main website assigned to custom stock. And I go to our front end, and you may see here my category pages. They show all products. And you may see here that layered navigation is working as well by different attributes. And first I created, because we have many simple products here, I created some special product for test. And quick search give us the special products. Now I go to advanced search, and I will apply the same name here in advanced search. I may also use it for school as well. Again, we have these products. Also, I have test products. Like I name them 1 and 2. I have special one and test one here. It's this all you see is work of Elasticsearch on custom stock. Now I may go to default stock, but I need to reassign its to main website. Here it is. And let us see what we'll have here. No, I need to do reindex, sorry. And also, because all my inventory transferred to custom stock, let me do and assign some products to default stock as well. Yeah, because reindex run is take time. So let me assign defaults and set some quantity here.
Tam nie bohaty iść, to mieć bok. Tam już 15 też może być więcej milionów też. Gdzieś może znaleźć skryte, albo my sobie byśmy nie prawda, to jest ale fajne i
And to have our layered navigation, I need to do it at least for 2 products. So let's assign product S2 to default source as well. Okay, let us refresh our front page. Yeah, it's on category 2. Our 2 products, and here you may see layered navigation are working. We may even use this filter here. And let me use quick search first. It's product 1. I'll check another name. Oh, maybe it's related. Okay, and let's apply it in advanced search. Yeah, test to here. I may also use it for, oh no, squid's different here. So probably that's all what I have to show for today.
And probably we have to mention that we, as it was requested on a previous demo, we made the default mode for the inventory source migration is asynchronous. So before that it was synchronous mode, but taking into account that it's supposed to be, it is almost for sure supposed to be pretty big operation, and we don't want to introduce any we don't want to introduce like a freeze of the UI for admin who is doing this operation. We decided to apply to make this operation asynchronous by its nature. So that Slava, can you please demonstrate that where this configuration setting?
Yeah, sure, of course. So it's on configuration and inventory tab.
Can you please share your screen?
Yeah, sorry. Okay. So it's on configuration page, inventory tab, and by because I was testing as synchronous by default. Yeah. What should I do? It's actually by default it's work like yes, but it's already changed here in my system. So when we open its configuration page inventory, it's run asynchronously set to yes by default.
So probably you have this value is overwritten because you tested a feature implemented by Alex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so
Stop sharing.
So thank you, Slava, for your presentation. So now we can switch to another functionality, which is actually was tested by Slava. That's why he has this value well specified to asynchronous as no, because our special guest Alex Luzun decided to help us on a performance track, and we had an issue with the memory leakage, and the memory leakage was reproducible actually on this case when admin wanted to apply the inventory transfer from one source to another in a synchronous mode. So that in this case, the system tried to deal with a big batch of data, and because the processing of this data was not efficient, the memory was leaking, and sometimes if the bulk was big enough, the system was falling down with a fatal error. And that happened before fabulous Alex Lezun helped us came to the rescue and fixed this out. So Alex, the stage is yours. Feel free to share your screen and tell us what you did.
Thank you. Yeah, hello everybody. I will show you what I did today. Only today, right? I started yesterday, and yeah, just wanted to join the MSI project, help somehow. I see that Igor has some problem there. That's my gift, my New Year gift to the Igor. So you see my screen, right?
Yep.
Good. So the initial issue was that, yes, Igor already explained. Generally, the error when we transferred these items was kind of this one. So the fatal error allowed memory size. I even could not reproduce it locally because I had no limit set, and it just killed my Apache when I tried to do it. So there was definitely the problem somewhere there. And then I jumped in, and basically, yep, this pull request, which was already merged, is a work that was done on last day. So I just will give I guess it will be hard here to see the original. But generally, yep, just we'll show you how it's now. So generally here, when you're on a product page, so we'll refresh it. When we select all, that's a small profile with 1,200 products on it. When I select all of those products and making the transfer inventory to the source, before on a step when I click this button, my local environment just died. So it's required so much memory. My RAM was full. And
I believe. Let me guess. You are running PHP as a mod PHP, but not FastCGI.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's why actually your Apache was.
You're totally right. So yeah, while we are talking, this operation is already completed. That's with my patch included. So I would say it's quite fast now. And when I checked the implementation, I found some small issue there. Can I see the previous version here? Story. Igor, do you know? Can I find the previous version here?
You can use history and go to the previous commit.
Is it this one then, I guess? Yep. Oh, wait. No. Give me a second. Yeah, this one is. Yeah, correct. So the problem was in a plugin that was on top of this operation, and what it generally did, I found here this two strange for eaches, which was a bit strange for me because generally those types, it's getting the all SKUs. So generally, it's this method receive the SKUs which we transferred when we made a mess action, and what it's doing is returning back the same SKUs list but with a product types on it. So you see that this SKU had simple product type or configurable or whatever else, and then what is it doing here? It's going through each of those SKUs, and then inside it goes through each of those SKUs again. So you can imagine if you're doing 1,200 products, multiply 1,200 requests, you'll have a huge amount of requests, which is trying generally to read the database, to insert the database, to update the database. And all those operations generally just kill the moving with a big amount of data. And yeah, I override this logic a bit just to have it not so many queries using. So generally, I reduce all queries from those millions of them to like 3. Basically, we first have the SKUs list, then we get in those destinations items. So generally, we also check in, we compare the source of the items and the destination of the items, and only find out the items that have to be transferred from source to destination. So we are not moving them all. Yep, and then and that's all done only with one query where we just doing in. So I'm not doing it in for each anymore, just one here. And then we get in the data from original source. And then generally what we are doing, we just inserting them multiple, also only with one query into database. So basically we have here only 3 database requests on this implementation. And as you can see, it works much faster. Yeah, I get that's all from me. If you have any questions.
Can you just show us the difference? Can you just make the check all and make the migration from source A to source B with your changes, and after that you can roll back to the previous changes and do the same operation, just to make all people feel the difference.
I hope it will be okay, but still feels that's with my changes here. That's what I'm doing currently right now. It's doing something. Yep, and generally the time which required to transfer those 1,200. Now I will try. Where is it? Okay. Yeah. Then I will generate. You already merged it in 2.3, right?
Yep. But you can you can make a checkout to some particular.
Yeah, some particular comment. Give me a sec.
same behavior on the prior one on my local machine. If I tried to transfer, I think it was about twice that 2400. It would just time out.
It was before, and I believe, yeah.
Where is mine here? Okay, wait. Change request. Okay. Sorry, I have the second monitor here, so.
So I will use the time while Alex making all the preparation. So actually, the main issue with this logic was incorrect, logically incorrect usage of the idea of our service contract. So by the way, you probably know. I can share my screen. Yep. While Alex making all that preparation, I will share my screen, and I'll just use this time to make a small announcement. So yesterday we published our service contracts API, and here we listed all the recommendation how the service layer API should look like, how they're supposed to be organized, how they're supposed to be called, what that data types should be used there, and many interesting stuff. It is not a long reading, but actually all these guidelines actually absorb all the experience and all the best practices we had in Magento, and especially on MSI, because, for example, many items, many bullet points in this list could be found currently just in Magento MSI, and this item got to this list because we tried particular practices on MSI track, and seen that it is much easier to handle and much easier to work with this some particular recommendation regarding the service layer. So what I wanted to say is that one of the recommendations regarding the service contract is that service contract is supposed to work with a bunch of data. So we don't want our services to work on the level of a single entity, but want all of them to work with an array of entities. And actually, this is a pretty similar stuff happens with this source migration. So we have a bunch of entities which need to be migrated from one source to another. And the main point of degradation was not actually the migration of entities, so not the migration of quantities, but migration of the configuration data assigned to this quantity. So you know that we have the inventory on each particular source, which we call the source item quantity. And along with that, we have the source item notification. And the source item notification is a functionality which is supposed to notify merchant when some particular product is running out on particular warehouse. So this functionality specifies the threshold, and if this threshold is we exceeded this threshold, the merchant is notified about that particular product is about to be sold out. And currently that functionality was implemented in a way that it was a plugin on this migration process. And the plugin accepted an array of entity, an array of our source items, and the plugin process them one by one. So we have pretty fast operation of migration of a bunch of source items. Like this is the only query which just makes a migration of 1,200 items from one table to another. But along in the middle of this process, we have the source item configuration migration, which starts to migrate each record by record for each corresponding record for our source item. That's why actually on this operation we had this degradation, not on an operation of quantities migration, but on an operation of configuration migration. That was the real issue for us. And the issue is based on the fact that pluginization was not correctly. So this plugin did not satisfy our service layer guideline. So actually, making the change Alex did, he actually made this plugin to be corresponding to our architectural vision. So I'm stop sharing my screen so Alex can.
Yeah, I'm ready. Wait, I'll do it again. Yep. So basically, that's initial implementation, which I showed it before, that we have here those for each inside the for each, and then getting from data, reading from database inside of those two loops, and then also updating in third also inside. And yeah, that's already refresh the page. So if I'll do the transfer now, it will ask me first for the sources. And then if I will click this button, maybe I will not see you anymore today, but yeah, generally it's doing something there.
Well, while we're waiting, I can say like I did it with the sample data and about 2,400 products, and it just froze everything. So while you were talking, I just pulled a new one and installed it and tried it. And it was probably about 5 seconds. So
cool. Yeah, then it works. Cool. I mean, yeah, I guess you will not see anything in the next 20 minutes. You can proceed with your next feature. So,
and actually, this is why I always recommend to make the local environment to use fastCGI, but not PHP on it. Because in this case, just the thread which is running your application will die, but not the whole Apache process and not the whole system process. So you would be still able to do at least something.
I will think about it.
Sorry, Alex, did you already run the migration?
Yeah.
So we are waiting.
We already like waiting like I guess 2-3 minutes already.
Okay, so probably like in any case we can probably switch to another feature to show, and you'll just tell us that the operation completed.
If it will complete it, yeah. Let's try.
Okay. Just in case, if you crash with all you have, so it was nice to see you with us. Thank you for your contribution. Hope you will come to our next demo as well with some presence.
Let's see. Cannot promise you anything.
I had one question on it. So based on how you've done the implementation to solve the performance, I don't think this would make a difference. But in the mass transfer, there's a checkbox for whether after the transfer is completed, we want to unassign from the source. Do you expect much performance difference?
No, I tried it generally also yesterday. It was also super fast. I mean, it's not giving much influence on a performance.
Great. And Igor, do these changes I just pulled from MSI GitHub and works great, does that automatically get to mainline develop?
Yeah, I already merged this pull request, so it's already in develop branch.
Perfect.
So let's switch to another topic in our agenda, and it is gonna be so we have another performance improvement. Let me share my screen in this case, as Stepan is not able to join us today. So I will share his update by myself. So by the way, we have a dedicated label for performance track, and by the way, you can so all the issues which appear somehow related to performance are marked with this label, so that you can see that most of these issues already been fixed. That's why you see another label into the 3develop branch, which actually means that this issue already fixed and merged into the 3develop branch, so our main line. And the issue we will be talking about right now, this is actually our main probably issue, which affected category page and the search result page. And we got several complaints on this behavior, and the root cause, as we already told you on a previous demo meeting, that we introduced MySQL view just to provide the same contract for both custom stocks and the default stock. And initially we demonstrated a week ago we demonstrated you a fix which was useful, and which helped us to fix this performance degradation on a small profile. But after that, it appeared that we still had some problems on a medium profile, because just we're dealing in this case with a big amount of data, and so that the changes introduced a week ago were not changes were not enough for us. That's why we continue our investigation, and actually Stepan continued the investigation, and he found several other issues, and these issues were delivered in the scope of, let me show you, in the scope of pull request. In the scope of this pull request, 1950, and as you can see, this pull request is also merged in our 3develop branch. So now I will show you fresh measurements. So these measurements done. So we still have our performance acceptance build as red one. But actually, along with that, like we continue working on additional performance tasks. But even now, you see that performance degradation on a small profile is barely exceed 10% on most scenarios. For example, like search or category page. And now, what is more important? We have values for medium profile. So before this demo meeting, we ran the performance acceptance build on medium profile, and also we got pretty similar data, which is pretty good because a week ago we had actually pretty the same data for small profile. So the degradation was about from 5 to 10%, but on medium profile the values were much worse. So it was like 200 to 300%. So now the values are the same. This actually means that what it means for us, it means that we fix an issue on the database level. And now we have to find the root cause on the application level, because we introduced quite a lot of additional logic, additional business logic, additional validation, like a chain of validation for is in stock, is in store, etc. So that it means that it is good that the degradation value between small profile and the medium are the same. So as you can see, the same degradation for category page and the product pages. So it is from 5 to 10%. So that we will be investigating this issue further. And for example, we already had some ideas. For example, one of the ideas was introducing, it was a ticket created recently by, I'm not sure that I'm really good reading Dutch names, but this ticket was created by a guy from community who mentioned that we can introduce a caching layer for our SKU and the product ID resolving mechanism, and that we have quite a lot of this ID to SKU calls, and potentially this the caching layer on this side can also introduce performance improvement. So we will be continue to investigating this performance degradation in general. But what is really good for now is really good that we don't have a gap between the different profile sizes, like medium and small, because on a previous week everything everything was pretty cool on a small profile, but when we got values on a medium profile, it was pretty big disappointment for me that our changes are not enough to run on a big chunk of data. And along with that, we got some complaints on guys from cloud who started the migration preparation to Magento 2.3 with MSI. And they stuck with the same performance issue. So now we can see that we are addressing these performance issues. And also this, currently all the pull requests we have regarding the performance are handled and merged to Magento MSI mainline. So this is all regarding performance. Is there any question regarding the performance degradation and how and the way how we fix it? If not, we can move to next item in our agenda. So next item in our agenda is let me check. I see. So let me share with you some updates regarding the store pickup thread, because the store pickup track is probably the most promising, and a lot of people approaching me and asking questions regarding the store pickup and when it's gonna be supported by Magento MSI. So the store pickup became another buzzword in Magento MSI world. And we have, so you know that we have the proposal document, and this proposal document could be found on our wiki page. And here we describe like the store pickup should be implemented. Also, we had a grooming meeting, and this grooming meeting is also the link to the grooming meeting also could be found on this page. But for today meeting, we already have the first mockup of look and feel for this store pickup, and we collaborated with Evgen Bannych, who is our UI UX specialist, and he prepared this mockup. So this is the first idea how the switching between shipping method and the store pickup could be implemented. So you can introduce this switching at the top of the shipping page, and here, because one of the main concern was to avoid a process of filling this shipping address if the store pickup is if a choice for the store pickup is at the bottom of page, because this will mean that all the data filled here would be unnecessary. That's why we introduce at the top of the page this switching, and now like a store pickup. Here probably it should be some additional elements which will provide an opportunity to find the nearest store, maybe by zip address, maybe by address. I don't know how, but currently it just provides a list of sources which support this store pickup functionality. It was the initial idea provided by Eugen. So we're still not sure about this particular layout and what the controls gonna be here, but at least the main idea here was introduce this switching at the top of the shipping page. So, okay. That's all regarding the store pickup functionality. Now let's proceed further. And now Valery Naida will tell you a little bit more about Web API tests. And Valery used his spare time to introduce support of Web API tests for Magento MSI on Travis, because you know that because the fact how we organize our code base, and that we keep all the tests in our modules, but not in the dev folder. Web API test currently not running on Travis, and they are running just on Jenkins, so that we provided an ability for community contributors to see results of Web API tests on Travis as well. So Valery, I'm stop sharing my screen. You can join and fill.
Hello everyone, nice to see you again. And today I will present small improvements, small but important, related to changes in our Travis builds. As Igor mentioned, you know, we don't have some builds related to API functional test on Travis, and that is absolutely inconvenient for external developers, for contributors, because guys don't have early feedback, early status of own pull request. And we forced it with the same problem in GraphQL track. And for us, it was absolutely critical issue, because GraphQL is mostly about HTTP request. So we resolved this issue, and today I ported fix for MSI repo. Generally, there is a lot of changes, some small changes in Travis configuration and in some installation scripts. You see, I introduced one more job, and generally need to think how to generalize all of these processes, because we have separate fix for GraphQL and we have separate fix for MSI, and I will think about how to run all of API functional tests for all of the pull requests. So as a result, you see that we have green build, we have more than 100 of tests. And after merging of these pull requests, guys need to take into account also result of MSI API functional tests. And one more notice from my side, I think we need to change structure of Travis build for MSI, because you see that we have running for PHP 7.1 and PHP 7.2. I'm not sure that we need to do this, because we have the same builds on our Jenkins, on internal builds. And what is main idea of Travis? To provide early feedback as quick as possible. So now I need to wait in twice time more than it would be if you run only on PHP 7.2. So generally that's all for me. Absolutely simple task, but I believe it will be helpful for MSI.
Thank you.
My name is Valery.
Yeah. Thank you, Valera. It was a small step for you in making this task, and it was a giant leap in MSI to help our contributors to provide early feedback on their pull request, especially if this pull request related with API functional test. So I'm right now merging your PR as I see that
Here, there are a few questions for discussions about do we need to run in production mode, do we need to run in development mode, do we need to run SOAP test? So we need to resolve this issue. After that, this pull request will be ready for merge.
Okay, makes sense. So now we proceeding to our next presenter, and the next presenter gonna be Lori, who will share with you the updates on DevDocs.
Hey everybody. Okay, let me go ahead and share. So quick update, Kevin worked pretty hard on getting some reservations content added to the DevDocs. I'll make sure this is also linked in the MSI wiki site. It has a really nice overview of reservations, how they work, how these calculations function, including an example or two. I'm working on some diagrams to add to this content so that it'll be much easier to review. Igor sent some really great info from a contributor, and we're working to get some really nice diagrams added. Also, for other documentation updates, I will be updating the wiki guide with new content for the work that's in progress, such as the Elasticsearch, the distance-based algorithm. And then in January, when the packaging does occur, the actual live content will also include it. Just to remind everybody where you can find some of this info. When you go to the MSI wiki, you can always find the wiki's user guide here, which is going to always match develop branch. And then the live content is also linked from here, so it's all in one. And all the dev docs are down here. I'll be adding the reservations link here. That's it, unless anyone has any questions or needs. And there's a link in Slack.
Cool, thank you, Lori. Looks like everything clear. And the final presenter gonna be Tom, who will share with you test coverage update for MSI.
Okay, great. Thank you, Igor. Let me pull this up for you here. Okay. Okay, great. We should have that there. Okay, just a brief update for today. So in terms of testing coverage with end of year activities, there hasn't been a large increase. What we have in terms of our manual test coverage then is this current breakdown by component. This is all the tests that are run manually. This number includes part of the automation. This is the full 539 number we see to the left here, and that's an increase from last week. So there is ongoing test definition work, both for manual testing and as a basis for automation. The automation for those new tests, particularly around credit memo, is in progress, but not through a pull request yet. This one I'll just look at briefly. If you've been in previous calls, you'll see this is from December 5. So this hasn't changed, but will be used as a baseline against our next manual regression run. So no changes on that side. Automated testing. Currently we have 142 was called out against the 395 in manual. Breakdown by severity, it's S1 and S0 primarily. There's S0s that still need automated, so we want to bring that S0 number up, and the next PR for credit memo includes S0s. That'll bring that slice of the pie up again. And by component, there's no change here from last week either. Unfortunately, there are 2 PRs in right now, but those haven't gone through, so we weren't able to bump up the number for this report, though in early January we'll see that come up. And as an addition to reporting, we do execution. Again, we have that 18 skip number, which we should maybe by end of today bring down by about 6. There's a PR that's been approved and just needs a merge through for that. And we will then from now on be starting to trend these numbers. We're obviously looking for an increase, but we want to track the rate of that increase. Currently, as we can see, just over the last 3 weeks is all we're reporting on for now. And obviously, this will sort of increase with time. We have our total test number going up based on the not automated tests going up and automated staying flat. But we should see an uptick on that early in the new year. So not a huge update for this week, but that's where we stand on our test coverage. If we have any questions, I'll take them. Otherwise, that's everything I've got.
I believe everything clear. Even small updates matter. So, and this is really good that the graphic is growing in this case, like test coverage. So
yeah, up is good. I'll take it.
Yeah, up is good.
Thanks, Igor.
Thank you, Tom. So the last probably question to Alex. Is it still running?
Yes, it's still running.
Okay. So probably we wouldn't be waiting till it finish.
Why? I mean, I have a lot of time.
you can just ping us in the Slack channel.
Oh, okay, deal. Okay.
He has a lot of elves.
Yeah. So thank you guys for your time. It was pretty interesting to see all these updates, and keep it rolling. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks all.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Happy holidays.